Hi friends, today we are going to discuss about the logistic regression part 2. So in previous lecture I already explained about the some of the concepts which are the what is the logistic regression, types of the logistic regression, assumptions of the logistic regression. So why not linear regression for the classification? So this kind of topics I clearly explained in my previous lecture. So in this today lecture I am going to explain the rest of the topics. So logistic model, build the raster regression model, decision boundary, cost function, all those things I am going to explain in this lecture. So what is the logistic regression overview? So our objective is to predict whether the rain will come or not tomorrow. So in this city, Albury. So this is the input data. So in this data, so date, location, and minimum temperature, maximum temperature, rainfall, humidity at 9 a.m., humidity at 3 p.m., pressure at 9 a.m., pressure at 3 p.m., rain today, rain tomorrow. So among these features, so these two features we are not considering for the building the model. So here we are considering only this is the features. So minimum temperature 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So which means 8 independent variables plus rain tomorrow, which is our target variable 1, which means total our data set contain the 9 features. So by using this data we are going to predict the rain will be come tomorrow or not. So in this data there are the two variables no and yes, no and yes. So no means 0, means no rain, 1 yes means 1, the rain will come tomorrow. This is the simple data. So next concept is the build the logistic regression model. So how to build the logistic regression model? Step 1, calculate the values from the weather data. So weather data contain the 8 independent variables plus 1 target variable. So from this data we have to calculate the values by using the linear regression. So what is the linear regression? Y is equal to mx plus b. mx plus b. So here if we take the in our data contain 8 independent variables, that's why we are taking the 8 independent variables, which means x1 x2 up to x8, which means our equation will be y is equal to m1 x1 m2 x2 up to m8 x8 plus b. So here this is our linear equation. So in place of m we are taking the theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, theta 8. In place of b we are taking the theta naught. Nothing difference. So here x1, x2, x3, these are our independent variables, and theta 1, theta 2, theta naught, these are our coefficient values. So we are going to find these coefficient values by using the elastic regression. So next step is, so convert these values into the probability between the 0 to 1 by using the logistic function. So what is the logistic function? So this is the logistic function. So 1 by 1 plus e to the power of minus z. So in place of z we can take 1 by e to the 1 plus e to the power of minus z, means theta naught plus theta 1 x1 theta 2 x2 up to theta 8 x8. So this data we are be substitute in place of z. So finally we'll get the probability value between 0 to 1. The probability value greater than or equal to 50%. So which means the probability value sigma of z is greater than 0.5, it will be considered as the class 1. The probability value less than 0.5, consider the class 0. This is the binary classification problem, whether 0 or 1, means whether the rain will come or not. Next, so our model takes the following form. So which kind of following form? So this is the x1, x2, x3 up to x8. So x1 means minimum temperature, maximum temperature x2, like that. X8 is the rain today, and this is the bias. So our equation will be y is equal to mx plus b, or y is equal to, means z is equal to theta naught plus theta 1 x. So both are same, don't be confused. So here we are multiplied the x1 with corresponding coefficient values x2, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, and the result will be z like this. So z is equal to theta naught plus theta 1 x1, theta 2 x2 up to theta 8 x8. This result will be the sum will be stored in the variable z. Then we have to apply the logistic function here. So based on the logistic function, we will get the probability value. The probability is greater than or equal to 0.5. It will be considered as the 1. Means output is the tomorrow rain prediction. Tomorrow rain prediction means 1 or 0, which means 1 means yes. The probability value greater than or equal to 0.5. If the probability value is less than 0.5, it will be 0, which means there is no rain for tomorrow. So the logistic function. So the logistic function given by the following formula: 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z. So when we plotting the logistic function between the range minus 6 to plus 6, the graph will be looks like this. So the z value minus 6 to plus 6. So this is our decision boundary. This 0.5 is called the decision boundary. So means the probability above the 0.5, it belongs to class 1. The probability less than 0.5, it belongs to class 0. So essentially the logistic function takes any value and puts it into the scale between the 0 and 1. So this is useful since it can convert the values outputted from our linear regression model into the probability. So we can implement this decision boundary. So in this graph, the green line is the decision boundary. So to put the probability calculated by our logistic regression model into this group, so the probability is greater than 0.5 predicted as 1, less than 0.5, which means the decision boundary, it is 0. So what is meant by decision boundary? So decision boundary is a line or the margin to separate the classes. So classification algorithm is all about finding the decision boundary. So this is the important point. So what is the classification algorithms? Is dividing the finding the decision boundary. Finding the decision boundary. Why it is needed to find the decision boundary? To help the distinct between the classes perfectly or close to the perfect. So if you see, the logistic regression decides a proper fit to the decision boundary so that it will be able to predict which classes a new data will corresponding to. Suppose in this diagram there is this is the class 1, this is the class 2. These two classes are separated by this decision boundary. So our logistic regression algorithm, we have to find the decision boundary. If you found this decision boundary, if any new data point will be comes to here, with the help of the decision boundary, it will be placing the given new data point, whether it belongs to class 1 or class 2. So if you know decision boundary perfectly, you can easily put this new data point to the corresponding classes. So the decision boundary can be line or it can be any is kind of margin in the sense not in line, it is a curve. So with the help of this curve we can separating this class and this class. So decision boundary play a key role to separate the classes. Next, so the cost function. So what is meant by cost function? So like linear regression, the logistic regression also has the cost function. So the cost function used to calculate the model parameters theta naught to theta 8 by using the gradient descent algorithm. So the cost function, so the gradient descent algorithm, how it is working, I was clearly explained in lecture number 4. Please go and watch it. How the gradient descent algorithm working, how to find the global minima. So the cost function gives an indication how far away our model predicted values, which means here h theta of x is away from our model predicted actual values. So y is our actual values and model predicted as the h theta of x, which means we can call it as a y pred. So with the linear regression we use the mean square error for this. So what is the mean by mean square error? 1 by n sigma I is equal to 1 by 2 sigma equal to 1 to n yi minus y hat whole square, which means this is our actual values, this is our predicted values. So which means our model how far is predicted. So which means we can find the error, means we have to find the cost function. So the first two steps of our model can be combined into a single form. What is the step 1? This is the step 1 and this is the step 2. So which means that in place of z we are considering this equation and substitute this equation here and you will get this equation. So 1 by 1 plus e to the power of minus z. In place of z we are taking the theta naught to theta 8. So before diving into the cost function of the logistic regression, first we have to understand, I am reminding you the cost function of the linear regression, which has the straightforward. So what is the cost function of linear regression? So the cost function h theta of x comma y is equal to 1 by 2 sigma I is equal to 1 to n h theta of x comma y whole square. So this is our predicted value y hat. So this is our predicted values and this y is nothing but our actual values. So our actual values means in our data y is nothing but the rain will come tomorrow, means yes or no. This is our actual values. H theta of x is our predicted value. So this linear regression is a simple and straightforward equation for the linear regression, because the linear regression uses the simple equation. This is the simple linear regression equation, but the logistic regression uses the sigmoid function. The sigmoid function is not linear. So linear equation, it is a linear, but sigmoid function is not linear. Next, so we cannot use the simple cost function here because it will not converge to the global minima. So to address this issue, we will use the log function to regularize the cost function so that it converges to the global minima. So here the cost function will be used to guarantee a global minima. So when if y value is 1, the cost function will be, this is the cost function. If y value is 0, the cost function will be like this. When it is 1, the graph will be looks like this. When y value is 0, the graph will be looks like this. So how to we will get this these two terms we will see. So simplified and combine the cost function. So to combine the both cost functions into one, so which means minus of y log s theta of x minus 1 minus y log 1 minus theta of x. This is the cost function. So we can have only two cases, either y 0 or 1, which means our target variable, our actual value is either 0 or 1. So in this cost function there are the two terms. This is the term 1 and this is the term 2. In these two terms, if you substitute, if y is equal to 0, so what is this answer? If y is equal to 1, so what is this answer? We will see. If y is equal to 0, if you put the y is equal to 0, the first term becomes 0 and second term becomes like this. So this is our cost function. In this cost function, if you substitute the y is equal to 0, so wherever y is there, you can simply substitute y equal to 0, which means minus of 0 log s theta of 0 minus y minus, in place of y we are putting the 0. So finally this value becomes 0, and this value becomes 1 minus 0 log of 1 minus s theta of x. So it will be log of 1 minus s theta of x. So this is our final answer, will be like this. If y value 1, what happened? If y value 1, what it will happen? If y value 1, it will be, this term will becomes 0. You will get the final answer. It's looking like minus of log h theta of x. So this is our answer. So finally we iterate our cost function all over the data points to get the overall cost function to the our model. So we divide our cost by our number of training examples m to obtain the average cost function. So this is our average cost function. We can apply the gradient descent on our final cost function j of theta to calculate the parameters for our model. So gradient descent algorithm with multiple parameters. So for n parameters theta naught to theta n, the algorithm update the n parameters via gradient descent algorithm to reach the global minimum. So for n parameters we have the gradient descent formula. So what is the gradient descent formula? So for n parameters, so initially theta naught will be 0. So repeat this process until it can be converges. So here, like gradient descent algorithm, we are going to update the theta naught and theta 1 values with the help of this learning rate. Here alpha is the learning rate. So the learning rate is the determines how quickly we can approach the global minimum. So if alpha value is too small, like 0.0001, so it will take more time to reach the global minima, and it's take a lot of computing power. That's why we can't take the minimum value. If you take the maximum value like 10, so at that point of time it may miss the point reach. If you take the 10, so it missing our minimum point, which means if this is our global point, so when it initially it will be here, when alpha value 10, so initially it will come here, then come here, come here, come here, come here. So it will be taking time, but it will never reach to minimum. It may miss the to reach the global minimum. So that's why there is a general, in general it leads to the accurate results quickly with relative computing power. So one way to choose the global learning rate. So how can you choose the learning rate? Means alpha value. We can take the range between 0.00001 to 10 with the difference like 0.001, 0.01, 0.1, and finally 10. So you can take wherever at if you initially take 0.1, check the result. 0.001, take the result. Wherever you get the less error, you can consider that learning rate is the optimal learning rate. Next, evaluating the logistic regression model. So how to evaluate the logistic regression model? By using the cost function. So this confusion matrix, I was explained in my previous lectures. If you go and watch it. So how to calculate the accuracy of the model with the help of this accuracy with the help of this formula TP plus TN by total number of predictions. So pros and cons. So what is the pros? It is a simple and efficient, and it provides the probability score for each observation. But cons is it does not handle the large number of categorical features well. So it requires the transformation of nonlinear features. So if you go to the practical section, so initially I'm taking simple data set. They are the x1 and x2, they are the two parameters, independent variables. So y is my target variable, 0 or 1 is the binary classification. The data contain the 27 observations, 3 columns. So I am applying the how the data will be looks like with the scatter plot. So the green dots are there some data points. So the green dots will be belongs to class 1. So here this is the data points belongs to the class 0. So next I'm going to divide my data into x and y, and I divide the data into 90% for training, 10% for testing. So build the elastic regression model, train the model, make the prediction. So prediction will be 100 when we apply the predict method. So when we apply the predict underscore probability, we will get the probability values. If you see here, so for x test, so my data x test will be so this is the x test x1 x2. If you pass this data to my model, it will predicted 100. So our predicted will be 100, which means that there is a probability for getting 1, 86 percentage for getting 1, and 0 means it is a 0 63 0.63 0.97, which means these two for getting the zeros, and this value is for getting the 1 probability, which means that for probability 1, so there is a probability of 0.86. For 0 there is a probability that 0.63, and here 0.97. And if you see the score, this is my test score 0.66, my train score will be 0.87, and confusion matrix 1011, and this is the classification report. So this is the example of the elastic regression. I hope you understand this topic. Thank you.